with y'all. So I know it's been a minute since we've been having any real Ikemen news, but I'm just gonna go over this recent update real quick, which you guys should be on yourself. You know what I mean? You guys can't go. I'm pretty sure they have like an official spot as well. You guys will have to find that on your own. But if you're already here, if you did not know this was here, there is a log that shows everything that gets added and etc etc, just like any how emulators work and stuff like that. But I'm just gonna quickly go over the main things here, mostly the things that mostly everything is obviously for people who are trying to make games and but you can still spice up your own personal setup as well with these things. So let's just quickly go over these real quick. So change name to plus to Ikemen Go. Okay. Support for victory music that kicks right after the match's KO, like this video. Let's watch this video real quick to see. I'm just gonna go through the list. That's classic right there. But yes, as you see, the music kicks in right after you KO them, and it leads it to the victory screen. Okay, interesting. Implement it in the same way as all other music types, stage def. So basically, you edit it in the stage def. And it says support for more than one track for random selection, so you can have more than one song. Round music extended to victory and result screen if no unique track is assigned. So if you don't put anything, or you can put something, so nothing will play. New LUA functions for handling text rendering. Okay. All main LUA modes serialized to separate functions for easier overriding. Okay. New mode, time attack. And I got the video right here up here. So this is gonna be the stuff that you guys are gonna be most interested in, the actual modes that you can use. So time attack, pretty self-explanatory. But I'll just show you a little bit if you don't know.
Round one.
Basically, you have to beat it as fast as you possibly can. That's what time attack is. So it's like obviously like arcade run, but you're timing yourself.
Round two.
And then I'm also gonna go on here so you can see it as well. But as we look at all of this stuff, as always, as I always say, you gotta look at it beyond face value, right? Because you can manipulate it to work how you want it for your own stuff, you know what I mean? So as we were looking right here, obviously, you already know the Mugen is just the default screen pack, but it's not. It says Ikemen right there at the bottom left. But here is the new thing right here, mission. As you go to mission, you'll see time attack. Okay, we already know survival versus 100, but now we have time attack, time challenge, and score challenge. So time attack, I'm just gonna go here real quick. See the timer right there. Fight. And you basically just have to beat it as fast as you possibly can. Just, it's really cool because it's like more stuff to do, of course, and then, you just keep challenging yourself. I'm just gonna tap on it real quick. But the one thing that's not fully complete yet is the ranking system where you can, just look at all of the scores and everything. Like, you go to a menu and look at the screen and stuff like that. See, right there. So if there was an actual arcade, you would play through all of your arcade, obviously. But this only has this one character, so it ends right there. But anyways, just so you get the gist of it. Time attack, like I said, is exactly as you remember it. Time challenge. Let me go back to it. But time challenge is similar, except it's you versus the one opponent you're facing. So whoever you're facing, right there. So new mode time challenge is fired by Street Fighter 2, and then we saw the other one above by Tekken. I saw that video. So you see, this is where it comes from. Wait, let me see. Make sure. From Street Fighter 2.
Round one, fight.
Wait, this is not the video that was on there. But basically, yeah, how fast you can beat that individual opponent that you're facing. And let's look at it right here. But what's cool as well, you see, because I tried it earlier, you see that the record is on there. But here's the thing I was gonna say: they implemented a save feature, so all of these records and all of this stuff that you're doing, it saves it, you know, as a real game.
KO.
But let's see my time, 13:23, just so you'll see. I don't know if it was faster than the other one, but nope. You see, but it stays up there. So that's another thing they implemented is a save feature. So that is important for things like records, and records leads to other things that I believe that's already possible now. The unlocking character system, stuff like that, unlocks, timed unlocks, things like that. You know how like it is in Smash Bros. After having, you know, playing the game a certain amount of time, things will automatically unlock or stuff like that. Um, you can do that, but you guys will have to be looking into those specific things on your own. But I did see something about that, and I do know that the character unlock stuff you can already do that. So time challenge, score challenge is the same thing except it is with the score. You know what I mean? Instead of the time, you see the points. Basically, that's what it is. That's the difference. How high a score can you get? But you guys also saw that was there as well. So those are some of the new modes right there. Okay, in order to use new modes, both Screen Pack and Lifeboard needs updating. So you're gonna have to update your setup yourself because you know you need the specific sprites and things like that. However you want it, that is. Let's see here, Screen Pack support for all Mugen. So that means that you can just the only way you're gonna know if it works or not is if you try import it yourself, and it's not hard at all. So at this point, you really should just be doing that because already you're gonna get all these new features already by default. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of skip over these things that aren't as impactful. They're basically just, you know, bug fixing and things of that nature, making it more like um other things that you're used to. Life bar added, yeah, okay. First attack flag and counter counting. That's like the combo counters and all that stuff that you see with add 004 basically. So you don't need that. And there's other people who do use those systems without that as well. Like when she was One Piece game. That's the one at the top of my head that I saw it. But yeah, you don't need that, and you can do it without it. The life bar, final round, okay, stuff like that. Let's see. But yes, these specific things, you know, depending on what you want to do, it will be more useful to you. You know what I mean? That's why I'm not gonna read everything because a lot of it, like I said, is just really fixes and stuff like that. Here comes a new challenger. Like if you guys didn't know already, now player two can press start and enter the game and stuff like that. You know, as if it were an arcade game, things like that. They can control the main menu, stuff like that, versus how it was before when only player one could do that, only could move on the screen and stuff like that. Basically, like I said, all of these things are to make it more and more like a commercial thing. Continue screen, result screens are now rendered at the top of the stage, character related, okay. Victory portrait. Yeah, I was already doing this already too, but now basically a lot of this stuff, when a lot of us were using workarounds to do it, we no longer have to do that. And that's good. That's really good. Those of you who use this Mugen hook, you'll notice some of these things, but they added up some features from that as well. Lighting portraits, cursor sounds. I'm gonna show you guys that as well. That means like when you select a character, like Ryu or something like that. Or the character will say something. You can do that. We're gonna take a look at that. Stage selection sounds. These devs, if you use them. Player 2 support for main menu, like I was saying. Main menu, team menu now support custom button assignments for next. Previous. Okay. Score challenge, time challenge limited to single character fights. Okay, so now you know. Best record rendering, select thing for. Yeah, that's what we saw when it showed the score on the screen. Game speed is now in there. A lot of these options that were in Mugen. This is like Street Fighter Cross Tekken when if you're playing team, if one person loses, it's over. Versus two people having to be defeated like MK9 or something. But that was also another option that was in there already, but not in Ikemen. A lot of, like I said, a lot of this stuff is just stuff that's being added from that. New triggers. Okay, yeah, this is for the score stuff. The innate score stuff. So as you're playing through arcade mode, and like I said, it ties into the ranking stuff, where as you go through each match, that score continuously builds up until you get to the end, and then once you get to the end, your total score is your high score. That goes into the ranking system they're trying to create, where like CVS2 or whatever, it shows the rankings of who you played with and how high a score you got. It's also in Project Justice too. I played that game a lot, so I remember seeing it in there. So those are some of the things. Like I said, I just wanted to kind of quickly go over it because a lot of people are not going to care about all of these things. Like it's only going to be interested to you if you plan to use these things. But you should go and definitely look into it yourself. A lot of this stuff is quality of life stuff. They're doing a lot of fixes and just prepping it to be, better and better. Excuse me. So now I'm gonna go and one of the things that I'm the most hype about is let's take a look at the select depth, the new select depth for this. So in addition to these things, they also added a lot of other things as well that we're gonna take a look at really quick here. Let me see. Wait 1 second here. And like I said, I'm just kind of trying to get people to know about this existence as usual. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people don't know about this stuff. You could be enhancing your experience. All right, hopefully that's close enough for you to see. But anyways, as usual, a lot of this stuff, a lot of common questions that people ask, all you have to do is look at the files and it actually explains how to do everything. Especially when people are asking, how do I add characters, whatever, blah blah blah. It's already there in the files. It's just that I understand a lot of people don't read, you don't have time, whatever. But for those who are interested, the information is always there. Just like this stuff, a lot of this stuff you would not know about because you do not read or have any interest in doing so. But I'm gonna go over these really quick so you can see. So Ikemen feature obviously shows the things that are new and unique to Ikemen. You cannot do this Mugen. Um, yes, it's only an Ikemen. It's an exclusive. A lot of these things you may be able to do, but people do freaking all these workarounds just for it. And here it's automatic. You don't have to do anything. Okay, so Ikemen feature. You can use multiple music tracks for random selection. So you can have a stage cycle through music tracks if you want to have more than one song on a stage. Music alt. Set the permavalue to music file path that should be used after the first round or during or deciding final round. So Well, I'll just finish it. Depending on stage depth file settings. When facing this character, music volume, loop start, and loop end values can follow, separated by spaces. Okay. So basically, this is, if you did not know, Street Fighter Alpha. Just use it as an example. Fighting Bison, second round, his theme changes to the Shin Bison theme, or whatever the case may be. First round theme, second round theme. This is what that is. So now you can have a theme in the first round and have it change. That's nice. And another one I know people will be interested in, music life. We can kind of already assume what that is. Set the value to music file path that should be used when player's control character has less than 30% life during the side round. Only affects side that is at risk of being defeated when facing this character. So we already know what this is. When the health gets low, gets to a certain point, that music track is going to be in there. So I'm trying to think of a game that had that. I don't even know at the top of my head, because I know we know the time, when time is running out, the music does that. But when there's low health, hey, cool, still cool. Another feature right there. So that's awesome. I'm pretty sure the time one is probably planned as well, or it could be, or maybe you can use that one in a creative way to make it work like that. Music victory. So that's just what we saw before. How once you get the final KO, the theme just starts playing already. That's what you see when you see the manual victory screen I be using. How it comes up and then the theme plays like that. That's pretty much like that without having to do the workaround for it, without having to create a helper, blah blah. So that's what that is without the extra work. Already know zoom, AI, versus screen. You can turn the versus screen on. Same thing with the windscreen. Rounds. You can do a lot of overriding stuff right here. So like basically these things are so you can have a specific opponent or a specific fight. This is mainly for if you have other types of things. Think about it. So if you have bonus games, whatever, people make full games within this engine that's not a fighter. So say if within a fighter you had another game within it, like I always be talking about beat 'em up stuff. Like you can have a whole beat 'em up within a game. You know what I mean? And you can use these settings so it won't interfere with it. You know what I mean? So things like time, rounds, life bar, stuff like that. Only me to force facing this character individually in team modes. So that means a feature that everybody has been wanting when you play in team mode. So the boss, that means it's not going to be two of the same bosses. You know what I mean? So if you want Gil to be the final boss, it's going to be one Gil if you use this. So it's not going to be two. That's a lot. Like a lot of people I know have been asking for this because it just feels more legit. Because usually, say if you had your KOF set up, right, and you had your 4-man squad or whatever playing your team, you can have it so it's like KOF. Like I said, you guys gotta look at it beyond face value, because I know when you look at this stuff or you hear me, you only see what I'm telling you or the example I'm showing you. But it's like whatever you want to do, you utilize it to the maximum capacity to fit your needs. You know what I mean? Like I said right there, now you can have a KOF setup where the final boss is just gonna be one enemy versus having copies of the same character, stuff like that. So another Ikemen feature prevents the stage from being randomly selected for a match while still allowing you to choose it from the stage select list. So boss specific stages, whatever, stuff like that, you can have it. Boss, this is for the boss rush mode. Bonus, we already saw this already. Exclude. A lot of these stuff, these have been here already. So these aren't new to this version. Hidden. So here it is, you guys. People who've been wanting hidden characters. Here it is. Set the value to hide a character. Cursor can move to the cell. Face and background are not rendered. Same result as hiding selectable characters by placing them outside of visible grid, but without the need to create lots of unnecessary select depth slots to do so. Cell can't be selected. Art is not rendered. Slot is ignored until the character is unlocked. Character is unlocked. So there you guys go. Asking, can you unlock characters? Yes, as you see here. So they're doing the groundwork right now, setting it all up. Like I said, the score and all of that stuff, is gonna tie into the ranking system in which you can unlock stuff. We can unlock stuff. Unlocking hidden characters is handled via unlock content section. So there you go. Already. So now we get into that point, you guys. Unlockable characters, unlockable content. Let me not just say characters. Unlockable, whatever you wanted to unlock. So for people out there thinking about making a game, or you kind of on the fence, because I know I'll be getting kind of bored of this stuff, to be honest with you. But seeing stuff like this is definitely like a little motivating, you know. It's definitely cool. These guys have been putting in work. So let's see. Order, we already know about that. With Ikemen, max 30 order is lifted. That limit. Order survival, unique to Ikemen. It works like order, just different for game mode survival. Okay, so that's just unique to survival. You can set stuff like that. Rivals. So you guys already knew about this, and I went over it before, but I'm gonna go over it once again. So rivals. I always gotta use Street Fighter Alpha because it is just the perfect example for that. But Street Fighter 4 or whatever, what have you, you guys already know how it is. Like a certain round, you'll be facing a certain character, stuff like that. So here you can see that you can do that. And then you can use all of these other features in conjunction to just make it more like freaking official. But let me just read it right here because this parameter alters standard arcade order and other default match settings, allowing to force predetermined matches along the way. So that just means like I already said before, or if you haven't seen the other video, you can set each individual character to have their own specific arcade order. So Ryu has his own order, Ken has his own order, Terry has his own order, Rock has his own order, whatever. As many characters as you have can have their own order. Up to you. That's what the rivals thing is for. And then just goes over specifics if you're using some of these other things. Max masters, it just means you can add more matches than you normally could. So slot, here is another big one. Okay. This parameter allows you to assign multiple characters into a single select screen slot. Oh my word. So this is, I gotta use Dragon Ball Z as an example. You got Goku, Super Saiyan Goku, Super Saiyan 2 Goku, Super Saiyan 3 Goku, Super Saiyan 4 Goku, all separate character slots. Okay, I understand why it can be like that, but it doesn't have to. Okay, for those who are really in the know, Dragon Ball Z, you play Dragon Ball Z Tenkaichi 3, you know how Goku could go through every single one of those forms from base, Kaioken, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan 4, and they all still had different moves versus them taking up character slots, which means less characters to create seemingly clones. You know what I mean? How the characters are barely different. They just got some slight changes, whatever. With this, you can have, okay, I'm going to explain both things. Okay, so with this, you can do two things, right? And I'm going to go over the parameters in a second. But basically, actually, I'll just look at it right now. So select means that you can put a specific combination to select this character. And if I'm reading this correctly, does this mean that you can use codes, hidden codes, like Marvel vs. Capcom? Remember when I was streaming and I was trying to pick Shadow Lady, that up, down, whatever? Does that mean codes? You can use codes to be able to select specific characters. Top of my head, I'm gonna be like, okay, so this means that I could create a boss character that's normally not selectable only through a code. And this code can be one of the unlocks that you can get from doing some specific task that we set or whatever. That's why I be saying you just got to use your own imagination, man, because it's crazy. The possibilities, right? And then swap is you press a button and it's going to swap between that. I'm going to show you guys an example of both of these actually. So here's the thing, right? So we got characters like Ken or Ryu, how he has Ken, Violent Ken, you know what I mean? They're the same character, but they don't play 100% alike, you know what I mean? So what's another example? Okay, so you know Ken and Violent Ken, they got the same sprites. Like he doesn't have a different look to him. I mean, he does, you know what I mean, but it's still using the same sprites. Versus someone like let me see here, someone like Kaede. You know how Kaede, his hair completely changes, so that's a different sprite set. Oh, I know someone else, freaking Takuma Mr. Karate. Obviously, the mask is completely different. You know what I mean? Over his sprites because it's a different sprite set. Same thing with Ragul, God Ragul. He has all the cuts and tears on his outfit. That's a different sprite set versus someone who is just a color swap like Iori, you know, Orochi Iori, Orochi Leona, or whatever, Orochi Chris. Another example will be Chris, Orochi Chris. Obviously, Orochi Chris is just a palette swap. He's just like maroon, purple, whatever. And then Orochi could be in the same slot as him. So you can have Chris. Well, you guys have already, if you already seen that video, how I already did that. But that just means that now, excuse me, you could select them on the main menu or the character select. So you could press a button and it'll switch. So you could pick them starting off. So you don't have to worry about doing all these workarounds, whatever. And then you don't have to worry about the freaking unless it's an in-game transformation. But me thinking this, if this slot, if this is a possibility, right, and it's linked to the character commands, that means that there has to be a way to utilize this to make it so in-game transformations can work as we've always wanted without having to worry about custom states. You get me? You're never gonna know unless you try it. I'm gonna do a little experimenting with it, but look, you guys see it here. You can swap this stuff without having to do workarounds, and I'm gonna show you an example of that. So yes, for example, you know how Kyo has a different sprite sets, one with the nest look, one with the regular one. Now you can have both of them and change them in game with the press of a button. Takuma, Mr. Share the same slot. Press a button, pick between them, whatever. Characters like that. Or even characters with alternate modes. Ken, Violent Ken, whatever. Ryu, Evil Ryu, whatever. You could just press a button and switch between them. And here it shows you examples of using those. And right now I'm going to open this up to show you guys an example. Because I haven't really been doing a lot of this stuff because he posted this update probably like I feel like weeks ago, and I just started like looking at it right now, so I haven't really been doing anything in regards to this. So it's like I said, it'll be best if you guys mess with it yourself.
Capcom.
So let me see. So let me show you an example of that. Like this. Obviously, you can see that these are two different sprite sets, though. So now you no longer have to worry about that. So you could have both of them if you wanted to. So basically, alternate costumes, no big deal. And then another thing. Oh, you guys also noticed they also added like you can have an announcer voice or the characters. You know, when you pick them, when you select them, character select sounds. And you see Ken. See, you can cycle between them. So while we could already do this already by holding start, you guys already know. But the thing about this is because, look at it this way. Not only does it show the name that's associated with the death, so for people who were big on that, you know, how the names don't change. Now the names change because they have their own separate deaths and you're changing it in game without taking up an extra slot. So that's cool. Dang, what else was I gonna say? I forgot. Maybe it'll come back to me. But yeah, as you see, the names, that's really big, you know, that's cool. But yeah, you don't have to worry about taking up extra slots for characters who have alternate looks. I know you guys see it a lot in KOF wing type of thing, but I feel like they do some super workarounds to do that. Here, you don't gotta do all that. You, with no knowledge, you can set this up like this right now, without having to do any of the extra work. So yeah, there's that. Oh yeah, another thing. So obviously, if you guys did not notice this already, single tag side mail turns. If you did not know, we have all of these enabled. Before, they had to take this away for tag, but now you can have both. And it's up to 4 players. 4 player tag, 4 player side mail, like scramble battle, Sheep Fighter Cross Tekken, 4 player turns, and new ratio mode. Okay, so as you see here, you can switch between the ratios. And you see there, obviously you guys already know where this is from, CVS of course. And of course, let me see, I don't know if I went over that already, but let me see here. Ratio settings, you can set the life, so you can set it to however you want it. Oh yeah, another thing that I didn't go over, I guess. Let me just leave the screen and not touch anything. So they added the demo mode back, as you guys see. So as with any game, if you don't touch it, just leave it alone, then the demo mode will just start playing automatically. So all you need to do is add your plus start screen and everything like that. It'll be looking official. Yeah, that's cool. So let's keep on going. So you guys saw the slot thing. That's huge, man. That's huge. I really love that feature. That's amazing. Because characters who do have it like that, I'm just saying, for example, say if you wanted Athena to have all of her looks from all of the games and you were just crazy enough to do that, and you could just have it like that, so you could select through each one of them. I just said her because I know she has like so many looks for every game. She has like a different costume. Let me just go through here. Remember that this is just like the regular testing screen pack that I was using. But whatever your setup is, you will just adjust it accordingly. So let's see here. We got some of the. Oh, that's some of the same stuff we saw already. So zoom minimum, that stuff we saw that before. And again, you guys can look at this yourselves. And this kind of goes more in depth over ratio mode. And here's another thing that I was saying. So you guys saw that ratio mode, how it is implemented there. It doesn't mean that one could not implement it exactly like the game. You know what I mean? You would just have to make those graphics and all of that stuff. You could do that because I've seen it before, like that Exist Select that Bexmas had did something similar like that. I had talked about it before in that video, like I don't know, some stream. But anyways, like I said, always look at it beyond face value. It just depends on what you, the person doing, is trying to do. You know what I mean? Okay, so that's pretty much it. As far as the main things go, you see more stuff for arcade, time attack, whatever. You see way more options than were regularly available. So if you're bored with your Mugen stuff right now, just delete it. Port all your stuff to Ikemen. Start, heading in the right direction. You know what I mean? For real, all these features though. So I didn't really go. This is not really an in-depth analysis because, like I said, I have not started using any of this stuff, and I only just looked at it right now. Like really started looking at it. So if you guys really want to mess with it, like I suggest you guys testing it out yourself. And I would like to see what people can come up with all these features and stuff like that, because more and more, all we're doing is just getting closer and closer. I feel like the last video I've made, which was like over 7 months ago, I was saying the same thing, and look at where we are right now with even more stuff. And you guys can dang, let me look at one more thing. Hold up. let me look at the system file because there's a lot of things here that you can see that are just on the roadmap that are not fully implemented yet, but are planned to be. But anyways, for example, look at this sub arcade menu. So arcade, team co-op. We already know about those already. But these are sub menus, right? So when you click one, you're going to a little sub menu like we saw before when it shows you a bunch of other options, like the mission that had all those modes, versus mode, story mode, right, as its own mode. You guys saw when I be messing around with that stuff is really for that, because I'd be practicing for that if I eventually did do that. Network, which is the online mode, host game, join game, um, that stuff. And then what's this? This group is hidden. It should move. Okay, so this versus arcade co-op, survival co-op. This looks like it's for online. Yeah, these are the online modes to play online with your friend, so you can play those. The tournament mode. So it says not implemented yet, but this is the roadmap. You guys can see what they plan to add already. Practice, training, quick match, trials. So trials, you guys know what that is already. These things are like something that you're gonna have to do yourself. You know what I mean? Like towards whatever you're doing. Mission, like we saw, like I was just saying, time attack, survival, boss rush. All those modes that were already there. Um, Watch mode, you could select or do random for people who are into that. You could select who fights or randomly choose. The replay mode, watch your replays. So profile, see, this is what I was talking about before. So you can look at your profile, your records, and your ranking. That's all the score stuff is gonna lead up to these things right here, and that's gonna be big on your freaking unlocks and stuff like that, unlocking content. So for you, the casual user, it may not mean much to you, but people out there trying to make games and create incentives for people to play their stuff, this is gonna be huge because you know what I mean. Like playing fighting games, especially with Mugen, I know you only can do arcades so many times. You know what I mean. Unless you got some friends to play with, it'll get stale pretty fast. But now you can create new ways to keep people playing your stuff, so they won't get bored. More things to do, which is great, of course. Like the time attack and all that stuff. These extra modes should be in every game. You know what I'm saying? Every game. That's so awesome. And that's pretty much the gist of it as far as what you can see readily right there. Well, the main things, anyways. So yeah, hopefully this will motivate you guys to get on it. Just download it. At least just try it. You know what I mean? Just download it. Try porting your stuff. Contrary to popular belief, you don't have to do these huge workarounds, and that's what they're working towards. So you don't have to do that. So you don't have to do all this extra work just to get something that's innately there. So just give it a try, you guys. Like I said, I be putting Ikemen in every video and all this stuff to get more people to use it, so we can get more people to get on it, and it could become a thing. Like now, they got even more people who are helping with making it, so you never know. So the more people who are interested and they start using it, you never know what could happen. But anyways, hopefully this helps you guys out. You guys can spruce up your builds and stuff like that. Spruce up your builds with all this stuff and send it to me and I'll play it. You know what I mean? We could just make sport out of it, have some fun. But that's it for me for today. I will maybe make a video soon. But that's it for today, guys. Hopefully, like I said, this helps you out and enjoy. I know a lot of people have been waiting for a lot of these features, and the development is still ongoing. And thank you for these guys for their hard work and they putting their time into it. Giselle, on the Discord, yeah, he be going in for us too. So thank him and everybody else who's been putting their, hard work into this. But yes, see you guys in the next video. Peace out.